Channel 10, WPLG, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. This is Eyewitness News Nightbeat, South Florida's #1 late news.
With fierce flames and thick smoke, a vicious blaze threatened homes and shut down roadways. Tonight, gaining the upper hand on a stubborn brush fire. For the better part of the day, firefighters battled another intense inferno.
And once again, the blaze broke out in bone-dry South Dade, and this time the wildfires came dangerously close to homes and businesses. Fire began in the woods near Southwest 117th Avenue. With tonight's big story, reporter Liz Reyes says that firefighting efforts continued well into the night.
Brush fire hotspots continued to burn after darkness fell on the South Dade neighborhood, a situation that kept nearby homeowners concerned.
I won't be able to sleep. I probably won't even go to work tomorrow.
I think that's the fire. It's going to come on the house, and it's going to burn the house down.
But the firefighters say even though some of these hot spots continue to burn a short distance from some homes, they say the residents really have nothing to worry about.
The perimeter of the fire has been contained. We've got the fires out around the houses and the buildings.
By nightfall, the main concern for the firefighters was helping FPL workers maintain power to homes in the area of Southwest 119th Avenue and 225th Street. The fire erupted early in the morning in the South Dade woods. By late afternoon, it had consumed 60 acres of forestry. All day, dozens of Metro Dade firefighters fought the relentless blaze, trying to keep it from destroying nearby businesses and homes.
I seen it coming through the woods, and when we got over there and got something together, the fire was there.
The fast-moving flames temporarily shut down a portion of US 1 for part of the day. It also forced some businesses to close.
At one point, the flames were right up to the back of the building.
Amazingly, no one was injured. By late afternoon, the fire was under control and US 1 reopened. But investigators say the cause of the fire remains unknown. In South Dade, Liz Reyes, Channel 10 Eyewitness News on the Nightbeat.
And Liz also said that while the blaze is now under control, firefighters plan to stay at the scene all night, tending to several hotspots.
And while today's wildfires in South Dade forced some people from their homes, it was a happy homecoming for the animals at Metrozoo. The zoo reopened again today. It closed on Saturday, and handlers evacuated about 30 animals when brush fires burned right up to the outside of the zoo property. Those fires are under control, and the animals returned today, and fortunately, the zoo didn't suffer major damage.
We were surprised when we were in the monorail that it went right up to the zoo. We just thought it was out further.
It looks excellent. I didn't even realize it until I went on the monorail, and then I saw all the damage.
The animals appear to be okay, but vets say some respiratory problems might not show up for weeks. A raging brush fire is racing through grasslands in the Everglades tonight. This fire has charred 2,600 acres in northern Broward County. The Florida Division of Forestry says the blaze is definitely out of control right now. Fortunately, there are no buildings in that area.
Can you imagine racing to put out a fire inside your high-rise, and then only a few hours later, another blaze breaks out? Well, now some seniors are living in fear because it happened in their building. Investigators say an arsonist set 2 fires in the Palmer condos over the weekend. One destroyed a library and blackened a hallway. Now, nobody was hurt, and so far, Pompano Beach police say they have no suspects. Another fire in Pompano Beach tore through an upholstery business. Dozens of firefighters battled this smoky blaze on Atlantic Avenue for several hours before bringing it under control last night. Investigators still don't know what caused the fire that spread to some other stores nearby.
Metro Dade police are searching for 2 men who got away on bicycles after a shooting in North Dade. Metro police say the 17-year-old victim was shot once in the face, several times in the body. It all happened earlier this evening in the area of 66th Street, Northwest 22nd Avenue in Liberty City. Officers say they found cocaine on the scene. They suspect the shooting was a drug-related robbery. In Virginia, the FBI has arrested a man wanted in connection with the murder of a South Florida store owner. Cedric Houston was shot and killed during a robbery inside the Cellular Concept store on West Oakland Park Boulevard in January. Today, agents arrested 24-year-old Marcos Milian. Police were able to identify him by a pager he dropped at the scene. Milian and a second suspect are wanted in connection with 6 other armed robberies in Dade and Broward counties. Detectives in Palm Beach Gardens say they believe robbery was the motive behind the murders of 2 teenagers found over the weekend. Officers say 17-year-old Vu Nguyen shot and killed David Lee and Michael Teet. Today, a judge ordered Nguyen held without bond. Investigators say they expect to make a second arrest very soon.
Hialeah Mayor Raul Martinez is still waiting for a verdict tonight as the jury considers his case on federal corruption charges. The jury deliberated for another full day today, but went home without reaching a decision. The mayor is accused of granting zoning favors in return for cash and land deals. Well, 2 families driven by love and desperation are fighting to raise 1 child. Catherine Ryder is the foster mother who raised baby Jay for 2 years after the birth mother abandoned the child. Ryder says the social workers told her she could adopt the baby. But then cousins of baby Jay's mother, Jesus and Martha Aguayo, said that they wanted to adopt the child. That set off a 2-year custody battle to be settled by a judge.
Anybody who's a parent knows the answer to that question. This baby belongs in our house. This baby belongs to complete our family.
In this case, the Aguayos allow the siblings, aunts and uncles, grandmother, they're all close.
The trial is expected to end by Friday, and Ryder says she will not fight any verdict.
This was a bittersweet day for the young boy who was the only survivor of his family from a plane crash in the Keys. 2 weeks after that crash, 10-year-old Matthew Blackburn left Jackson Memorial Hospital on the way home to South Carolina. He's in fair condition at a South Carolina hospital, but he is expected to make a full recovery. Matthew lost his mother, his father, a brother, and a sister in the crash. A charming hot air balloon ride in the Colorado mountains ended up with a terrifying crash into a hillside. 4 European tourists were hurt. 10 people were riding in the balloon about an hour west of Colorado Springs. All were from England and Scotland. The balloon made a rough landing, and all 10 passengers fell out as the basket dragged on the ground. 1 woman is in serious condition. 3 others were hospitalized.
Monday marked the most emotional stop on the road to the White House for Bob Dole. After winning his party's nomination, the senator went home to Kansas to celebrate what he called a dream come true. And he offered his emotional thanks to the town that's brought him 1 step away from the Oval Office.
So at this moment, I wanted to be home, to come to this place and to see all of my friends.
That homecoming was short-lived, though. The senator headed back to Washington and back to work. And one day before the next primary, the lone Republican challenger spent his day looking ahead to the party's convention. Commentator Pat Buchanan was at the Hall in San Diego, where the GOP will meet this summer. He vowed to return and said he will support Dole in the race against President Clinton, but he also said he's not giving up the fight to influence the direction of the party.
A day of joy, unity, and some would say controversy for hundreds of couples in California. More than 200 couples, all gay or lesbian, exchanged vows today in San Francisco. The mass ceremony featured about 20 couples at a time taking their vows, in which they pledged to be responsible in a caring and committed relationship. The city pronounced them lawfully recognized domestic partners. That state does not recognize same-sex marriages.
Well, another look at tonight's big winners and our Oscar picks coming up next on the Nightbeat. Plus, see how South Florida film fans are celebrating Hollywood's biggest night.
And then the king of comedy called it home for more than 6 decades. Find out what's happening to his famous mansion.
And why doctors are stunned by the powers of a popular vitamin. When the Nightbeat comes right back. The panic in Britain over disease beef is showing no signs of letting up, even though health officials there are trying to reassure the public that British beef is safe. The so-called mad cow disease has been linked to at least 10 cases of lethal brain disease in people. Even so, the government announced today there is no need to destroy millions of British cattle, though tonight several restaurant chains and the European Union have all banned British beef.
The Surgeon General always told us the dangers of smoking. Well, now there's a new way to quit. The Food and Drug Administration has approved a nasal spray that gives heavy smokers a dose of nicotine from a bottle instead of a cigarette. Nicotrol NS will be sold by prescription only to adult smokers who are trying to quit. Scientists warn smokers can get as addicted to the nasal spray as they can to cigarettes, so the prescriptions must be watched closely. Taking your vitamins could help save your life. A Cambridge University study has found that the benefits of vitamin E are amazing for people with heart problems. Researchers say that patients who take vitamin E every day can reduce heart attacks by 75%. That study also recommends vitamin E for patients with angina pain.
Well, the Beverly Hills home that funny man George Burns lived in for more than 60 years has already been sold. A Los Angeles man bought the 6,000-square-foot home for about $2 million. Burns paid $79,000 to build the home back in the 1930s. House actually appeared in the George Burns and Gracie Allen show from 1950 to 58. Burns lived there until he died earlier this month. The entire cast of the film Evita picked up stakes and flew overseas today. Madonna and crew arrived in Budapest to continue shooting there. That's her, by the way, behind the umbrella. Madonna will be in Hungary for about 5 weeks, and more than 3,000 Hungarians showed up for the first casting call, hoping to be extras on the film.
The 68th Annual Academy Awards are but a memory tonight as a new crop of winners walked away with Oscar gold. From Los Angeles, reporter Lisa Salters gives us another look at the best and the brightest in Tinseltown.
It's Hollywood's big night to show off its own, and there was certainly a lot of showing off to do tonight, a lot of outstanding work from all of tonight's nominees, and what made tonight's Oscars particularly exciting to watch this year is that unlike years past, there were very few runaway favorites, meaning that in just about every category, Oscar was up for grabs. On Hollywood's big night, hostess Whoopi Goldberg wasted no time taking a direct shot at the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who urged African Americans to boycott the show.
Jesse Jackson asked me to wear a ribbon. I got it, but I had something I wanted to say to Jesse right here, but he's not watching, so why bother?
Like many suspected, the usual suspects, Kevin Spacey took home the award for Best Supporting Actor.
What's going through your brain is like 100 miles an hour of like a gnat being smashed on a windshield. You can't quite believe that it was just you. My biggest hope was that I wouldn't fall into the orchestra pit.
Newcomer Mira Sorvino won Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal as a prostitute in Mighty Aphrodite and gave a moving thanks to her father.
When you give me this award, you honor my father, Paul Sorvino, who has taught me everything I know about acting. I love you very much, Dad.
There were several special moments tonight, including a standing ovation for veteran actor Kirk Douglas. But perhaps the most touching was when Christopher Reeve appeared on stage in his wheelchair, Superman's first return to Hollywood since his tragic riding accident.
I wouldn't have missed this kind of welcome for the world. Thank you.
There were still plenty more awards to hand out. The Academy's choice for Best Director, Braveheart's Mel Gibson.
Well, like most directors, I suppose what I really want to do is act. But,
For Best Actress, five-time winner Susan Sarandon finally won the big prize.
Thank you, members of the Academy, for including me in the fine presence of these other great actors.
There were no surprises in the Best Actor category. Nicolas Cage's role as a down-and-out alcoholic got Oscar's vote.
I know it's not hip to say it, but I just love acting.
And taking in the final award of the evening, and perhaps the most anticipated for Best Picture, Mel Gibson's Braveheart. And so another Academy Award show has come and gone, and it was a great one, every bit as memorable as promised. Reporting live from Hollywood, I'm Lisa Salters. Now back to you.
Lisa, thanks. And while Hollywood celebrated, hundreds of people protested because they feel that minorities are being left out. Protesters from the Rainbow Coalition marched in front of KABC TV in Los Angeles. Demonstrators are upset there was only one black nominee this year. The march was organized by coalition leader Reverend Jesse Jackson. He called for more diversity in the film industry.
The consciousness of the American public. We have to raise the consciousness of the studio owners, the executive producers, the writers, those who provide the scripts, so that Hollywood will become much more diverse, and we'll see a truer and better and more accurate American picture.
Protesters also marched in Atlanta, Chicago, and in Washington. And tonight on Nightline, race and Hollywood. Several prominent directors, writers, and producers give a very different viewpoint on tonight's Oscar Awards ceremony. That's coming up right here, right after Eyewitness News. And despite Jesse Jackson's call to boycott the awards tonight, folks all across South Florida tuned in and partied along with the stars. Our coverage continues now with Jeff Weinseer, who looked for a few stars himself.
There was Robert Redford, behind him Sean Connery, even Eddie Murphy was on hand. This is Oscar night, South Florida style. The parties weren't just in L.A.
I've been to this event before, years ago in Los Angeles, because I lived in Pasadena for many, many years. I'm new to Miami.
This is a classic. It's a special night. It's a night that celebrates Hollywood.
At the AMC Theater at Cocoa Walk, they rolled out the red carpet. The autograph seekers lined up.
They saw the actually prestige of what they do.
Inside the theater, it was almost like being there. The Oscars on a huge movie screen. And, of course, everyone here had a prediction.
I guess Nick Cage is a shoo-in.
Sean Penn. That's it. Sean Penn is going to be the winner tonight. Nicolas Cage. Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone is going to be the winner tonight. Any predictions?
I'm too chicken.
I'd like to see Sean win.
Yeah, right?
What about Babe? Babe, I think Best Actor.
And it's not just glitz and glamour here. The event at Cocoa Walk was actually a fundraiser with all the money raised going to the YWCA and a charity called Suited for Success. Jeff Weinseer, Channel 10 Eyewitness News on the Nightbeat.
Now we know who the Academy voted for. But now, the envelope, please, for our picks.
Now, if you were watching Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock, you know that Dwight and I chose our own favorites for Best Picture, Best Actor, and Best Actress, and here's how we did. We'll open up the envelope. Best Actress, according to the Academy, Susan Sarandon, but according to both Dwight and I, Emma Thompson was the winner.
The Best Actor Academy Award went to Nicolas Cage. My pick was Massimo Troisi. Great name. Diane chose Nicolas Cage.
A winner there. And the Academy's Best Picture of the Year, Braveheart. But Dwight and I both chose Sense and Sensibility.
Makes sense to me. What do they know,
to you?
huh?
Yeah, well...
Siskel and Ebert have nothing to worry about.
No, they
That's
don't.
pretty clear.
Their jobs are secure.
Well, you know what? Someone needs to remind Mother Nature that the calendar says it's spring.
Coming up on the Nightbeat, a look at the places where winter is still hanging on. That's right after Jimmy with sports.
The Panthers lose ground to the Flyers. Andre Agassi advances at the Lipton, and so does Steffi Graf with a performance to remember. We'll have the highlights when Eyewitness News turns to sports.
Steffi Graf gave a clinic tonight, unfortunately, at the hands of one of our local stars.
Yeah, one of our favorites, Mary Jo Fernandez. This was a rough night. No one would have beaten Steffi Graf tonight. I don't believe so. At least at times, she couldn't believe it herself. Nearly every shot she hit was a winner. Graf broke a smile. I'm not so sure she broke a sweat. She didn't really have to. Graf walked through her match against Mary Jo tonight, beating her 6-love and 6-1. It wasn't that close. That's the sad part. Fernandez did everything she could to try and slow down the #1 seed, but Graf figured out every move. First, Mary Jo tries to volley with her, but Graf puts away that little deft drop shot. Yeah, so then she changes up, keeping Fernandez off balance throughout the match. This time, Fernandez decides to follow her shot by coming into the net. What does Graf do? She hits the beautiful lob for the winner. She used the entire arsenal tonight, did Steffi. She had a smile about it. Coming up, match point. Graf is going to crush this forehand return. Look at that. That blast past Mary Jo sends Graf into the quarterfinals. Once again, she wins at 6-love and 6-1.
Well, I've been feeling pretty good all day, which is usually, you know, usually obviously when I feel bad in the morning. Sometimes I play my best tennis, so whatever. It's been great all day. I've been hitting it pretty well all day.
Earlier today, Jennifer Capriati was knocked out of the tournament by Gabriella Sabatini. She kept Capriati off balance by mixing many of her shots. Capriati didn't play badly, though. Sabatini wins that first set 6-1. Then she made it interesting by double faulting 7 times in the second. Didn't matter, though. Capriati just did not have it for the entire day, and Sabatini moves on 6-1, and boom, 6-4. That was the final there. Other winners today. Anka Huber moves on. So does Kamiko Date, a finalist last year. Chanda Rubin won today. So did Lindsay Davenport, Irina Spirlea, and Karina Hapsudova. Winners today. Andre Agassi won again, but it wasn't easy. For the second match in a row, he was taken to 3 sets, this time by Jean-Philippe Florian. Who knows? Maybe he's being distracted by his fiancée, Brooke Shields. She was in the crowd today watching Andre sweat it out against Florian. After winning the first set, Andre began to lose his grip on the match. Florian comes to the net, and he hits a winner. Agassi lost the second set, but he regained his game in the third. First, with this nice lob, Andre, nice shot right to the corner. Yeah, he's starting to get it back on. And then, this is match point. Watch him take the shot right off his shoes for the winner. Agassi advances to the 4th round, 6-2, 4-6, and 6-2. Elsewhere on the men's side of the draw, Jim Courier beat Byron Black tonight. Stefan Edberg, Marc Rosset, and Arnaud Bosch all advance on to the next round. The Marlins have 1 week left to get ready for opening day. Exhibition excuses just don't cut it anymore. They were beaten this afternoon by the Tigers after blowing a 5-run lead. A beautiful day for a ball game. Today it's Basco Stadium up in Vieira. A great one for the Marlins early on. Terry Pendleton goes to left center. Gary Sheffield comes along to score. Didn't end there. Kilvio Veras with another single. Right, this one scores Charles Johnson. But a 6-1 Marlins lead didn't hold. The Tigers come back with some big runs in the late innings. Tigers win this one 7-5 in 10. Well, over the past 4 weeks, it seems as if the Panthers and Rangers have gone at it every other night. That perception will only grow. They'll meet once again Wednesday night in New York. And finally, the Heat didn't play tonight. They're off until Wednesday when the Lakers come to town. They were off, but that doesn't mean they didn't work. Heat spent the night at the arena hosting 15,000 school kids. It was a salute to the youngsters for their solid academic performance. The kids were treated to a game by the Harlem Globetrotters and a visit from the Heat coaches. Coach Pat Riley addressed the students and urged them to stay in school. Nice night, huh?
Good time was had by all of you. Jimmy, thanks. Well, South Florida continues to keep its eyes on the skies. Still to come tonight, a look at our planet's brush with a light show among the stars.
And later, meet a young girl who's getting the chance of a lifetime to keep her eyes on the stars.
Is your man failing at romance?
I want someone to make me feel special.
These love-starved wives have had it.
I just need to feel appreciated.
They're shipping their hopeless husbands off to romance school.
She's like bugging you for sex.
And they got some seriously sexy assignments.
You're going to create a beautiful bubble bath for her.
Where did the romance go, and how can you get it back?
Theodore rocked my world that night.
Hello! Oh, what a little love lesson can do. Next Oprah.
Tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Keep it on 10.
It's supposed to be spring, but somebody forgot to tell Old Man Winter, especially in Minnesota, where folks spent this day digging out some heavy snow. 15 inches of powder buried cars and forced more than 300 schools to open late today or close down completely. Whiteouts from blowing snow and icy roads, as you can imagine, also made driving very dangerous.
Time is running out if you'd like to catch a sight of a speeding comet. In fact, tonight may be the last night of prime viewing for Comet Hyakutake. The comet is making its closest approach to Earth. That's about 9.5 million miles. Now, after tonight, it's going to start to fade, but it may brighten again as it nears the sun. After that, it won't be seen in these parts for another 17,000 years. So
I don't think I can wait that long.
Thought it was 18,000 years.
Oh, don't be picky at this
give
hour.
or take 1,000 years.
It's too late to get worried.
We're not going to argue that.
No, how's it look for today?
It looks nice for later on today, and we're talking about the cold weather and all the snow. Look at how cold it is up north, all right, shall we? If we take a look at the lows overnight, it will be below 0 in Minnesota tonight. Now, we're talking about late March, and it's not supposed to be anywhere near that cold, but look at how much of the country is in the teens and 20s. We will be in the 60s, 80s tomorrow, but still, the northern Great Lakes, specifically Wisconsin and Michigan, in the teens, 20s, and low 30s, so that's very cold for March. Temperatures outside now in Miami, these are midnight readings, in the low 70s from Miami Beach, Kendall, Homestead, and Miami. Fort Lauderdale temperature is about the same, 73, and West Palm, Key West 72, Surf at 71. All the temperatures are about the same because of the wind blowing east at 12, mixing up the air and having everybody about the same. Humidity is 79, 30.16, rising barometer dew point 66, and that has come up in the last couple days. Reynolds moisture out there. 79 and 67 are high and low, and we have had no rain today. In fact, haven't had any rain in a long time now. 89, the record high in the state. Here's the updated map. The snow that buried Minnesota, western Wisconsin, now moved into Michigan, but beginning to diminish. Now rain across New York, Pennsylvania, some showers in northern Florida. Thunder showers were active earlier, but now they're beginning to die down. High pressure will move to the east, forcing the front to kind of go northeast, southwest, and become stationary tomorrow. So generally, showers and thunder showers along the front, but not here, and some rain in the west. Now, as far as the outlook is concerned, for the next couple of weeks, here's the way, or the next week, here's the way it goes. It'll be much below normal temperature for the areas that are cold now. Can you believe that? From Minnesota down through West Virginia up into New York. Below normal for northern Florida and surrounding that. So it looks like a continued pattern of cold weather in the Northeast. The only spot that's going to be above normal will be in the west and much above normal temperatures for Arizona. Let's put our satellites into motion, and then we'll zoom in here. Here's an area of strong storms approached and went through northern Florida, caused some damage up there, some trees and power lines down. Let's zoom in. We'll take a closer look at that as it moves across the northern part of the state. A tornado watch was in effect for a while. Severe thunderstorm watch for central Florida. That has since been canceled. There have been a lot of reports of trees and power lines down. Meanwhile, South Florida looks okay. As far as the temperatures go, well, we don't have time for that. It's all right. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. Southeast wind, it's warm everywhere. 15 to 20, seas 46, bay waters expected to be choppy. All right, here's our forecast now for tonight. Mostly fair, mild, and breezy. The low temperature 70. I think you can see the comet. Look to the handle of the Big Dipper. There are some clouds out there, but it might be clear from time to time. Tomorrow, partly sunny, breezy, the high temperature 80. I know you're in bed. You don't want to go outside. Wednesday, a chance of showers. Thursday and Friday, lots of sun and warm. 70 to 74 and highs from 80 to 84 degrees. That's our forecast. Dwight?
Thank you, Don. In tomorrow's Sun Sentinel, the physical pain of horrific burns gave way to emotional strain for a pair of plantation police officers. That's just one of the stories that you're going to read in tomorrow's Sun Sentinel. You may recall the family of officers Joe Alou and James O'Hara almost lost their city health coverage. Well, a new state law would make sure that never happens again. And then, what do you look for in a new home? The perfect house or a great neighborhood name? Don't laugh, because Sun Sentinel reporter Jay Weaver tells us builders don't take that in vain.
They are trying to create a sense of place, trying to attract buyers to their developments. And because they don't have a lot of natural names like you might have in a place like Virginia with both history and topography and hills and mountains and those sort of things, they make it up.
And then Dade County wants to keep talking with the Heat and the Panthers, but Broward wants just the opposite and told the teams to stop. These stories plus Don knows forecast, all in tomorrow's Sun Sentinel.
She is only 18 years old, but she had a front row seat tonight at the Oscars. We'll tell you who she is and how she got there.
But first, check out tonight's winning lottery numbers. Here they are. While you watched the Oscars on television, one lucky young lady got up close and personal with some of the stars. Summer Smilowitz was the only high school student in the country to get an official Oscar press pass. Summer won a lottery with hundreds of other high school journalists. She started her assignment by interviewing Oscar producer Quincy Jones.
I'm sure this task has been overwhelming for you. What are some unexpected things that you have had to deal with?
Everything. That's why it hasn't been overwhelming.
Okay. Summer is the editor of her high school paper. She says that she wants to be a reporter one day.
I think she'll be a good one.
Entertainment reporter, no doubt.
We could use one, as a matter of fact. And that does it for now. ABC's Nightline is coming your way next. And remember to watch for Eyewitness News Daybreak. Coming up, about 5 hours from now? We'll have a live interview with former Surgeon General C. Everett Koop.
We'll probably still be up. For all of us here on the Nightbeat, thank you for watching. And remember, we'll be looking for you again a little later today.
Eyewitness News, South Florida's #1 choice for news and information on the one and only Channel 10.